Looking back, it was more of an existence rather than a full life. There was never a space I was able to be fully present at the time. There was always my eating disorder.
The relationship between you and food can be so tricky. That's why I made this video with Nicola, where we chat about eating disorders and how you can recover from eating disorders and how she has as well.
When you're deep in an eating disorder and you don't know what to do yourself, it's difficult to kind of tell people what you need.
When people think of eating disorders, they think like it's not eating, but it also can be the other way around as well.
Yeah, there's so many, there's many different eating disorder types, and they're all as serious as each other. There's no one that is more serious than another, but there is a stereotypical picture in people's heads around eating disorders, which is not really fair, because it it shuts out everybody else who's suffering from eating disorders, who doesn't fit that stereotype, and silences them even more. It looked like I had everything together. I was driven, and I was very, very perfectionistic, and I had all my ducks in a row, and I was very structured in everything I did. But we know what that means. We know now what that means, but back then, as I said, it started out feeling like I'd found a way to keep everything together. And people on the outside saw that and almost revered that. It's like, oh, wow, look at you. You're so structured. You're so disciplined. You've got everything together. You're so driven. You never stop, which, looking back, was not the best thing, and led me further into my eating disorder, because it was like, well, this is working. This feels great. Because people are noticing, and this is good that they're cheering me on for this. They didn't know they were cheering me on. They thought they were just seeing someone who had it together. They really didn't realise until I was so far down the line. And then they realised, and by then they didn't know what to do, and nor did I.
What did recovery look like for you then?
Well, it was a really long road, to be honest. I kind of got to a place where I was no longer in danger, I would say. So I could get through my days and eat enough to just get through my days. I adapted to that kind of level, if you could call that recovery. It wasn't. It was just making sure I could tick along, basically, and just fly under the radar, which is dreadful now looking back. And that's how I lived for a long time. I mean, I went from being really unwell to just being able to manage what I was doing. I ended up getting married. I ended up moving overseas to South Africa. My eating disorder followed me. It didn't stay where I'd left. It came with me. But I managed life to a certain degree. But looking back, it was more of an existence rather than a full life. There was never a space I was able to be fully present in that time. There was always my eating disorder ticking away in my head the whole time. Recovery really only came along really properly when I sat there one day and one of my kids actually said to me, "Mum, why don't you eat what we eat?" And it was like someone had found out my worst secret, my deepest, darkest secret, and I'd been exposed. But because it was one of my children, I couldn't just ignore it. I couldn't just glaze over it and lie. And that was so confronting. And that was kind of the place where I just thought, okay, it's time. I need to really do something about this.
If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit subscribe and take a look at my next video, where I talk about a form of therapy, and it involves using the eyes